Angel Reese reveals the real reason behind Caitlin Clark's move to Europe. Angel Reese shuts down rumors, says Caitlin Clark's exits is a financial move. Angel Reese couldn't just let Caitlin Clark's European contract go smoothly. So what does she do? She hijacks it, of course.
Fuck is that headline all about?
Yeah.
Yep,
She is the
WNBA.
worst fucking basketball player.
In the WNBA, we've never seen anything quite like this. Someone so determined to stir up trouble, Ray's still tied up in her own steroid scandal, decides to throw shade at Clark, claiming players are just chasing paychecks and using racism as an excuse for sympathy.
People talk about Caitlin getting hate, but someone sat down and spent hours putting together an 8-minute video with interlude clips all to trash Angel. Why?
But when the entitled complaints are coming from Angel Reese, it makes news throughout the mainstream media.
And yet, it's clear she's aiming that at Clark. The wild part is Caitlin has never even said a single negative thing about Reese or any other black player, but for some reason I am feeling today some people don't deserve a silent treatment.
Blah, blah, blah. From Angel Reese.
Well, we all know Caitlin Clark heading to Europe isn't just about trying out a new scene or grabbing a different paycheck. Nope, it's about getting the heck away from the toxic circus that the WNBA has become. Sure, at first glance, the WNBA might seem like a dream for someone like her, a player who's basically built to dominate, but in reality it was turning into anything but that. She wasn't just out there shooting hoops, she was dodging scandals and side eyes like it was part of the game plan.
Entitled players in the WNBA just can't seem to understand is you get what you put in, and right now you are getting exactly what you deserve.
And why? Because she chose to keep her mouth shut while everyone else tried to twist her into some kind of villain. Some of her own fellow athletes and even a few media bigwigs labeled her a racist. Seriously, where do they come up with this stuff? But Clark, being the cool-headed player she is, never bit the bait. She didn't waste time responding to these ridiculous accusations. She just kept her focus on the one thing that actually matters, basketball. But man, the storm around her just kept growing like a bad reality show plot.
So I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans.
And then Alyssa Thomas, clearly not a fan of peace, decided to add fuel to the fire. She went all public, blaming Clark for racist comments made by her fans. Yep. You read that right. Thomas decided that Clark somehow had control over what random people in the stands were saying.
I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fans.
Absurd, right? It wasn't even about what Clark did or said. Nope, Thomas was just trying to shift the spotlight off her own struggles. She wrapped her frustrations, jealousy, and whatever else was brewing inside into a neat little accusation package and lobbed it right at Clark.
Then she had a press conference where she cried and everybody's so mean to me. Well, she's continued the stupidity. I mean, she cheered on her teammate as she shoved Caitlin Clark, knocked Caitlin Clark in the head, and a bunch of other stupid stuff.
But here's the thing, Caitlin didn't have to do anything wrong to become a target. The love she was getting from fans, the way her name dominated every highlight reel and headline, that was enough to light a jealousy bonfire in the WNBA. And it wasn't just random trolls online, it was the very players sharing the court with her. Instead of celebrating her greatness, some of them just couldn't handle it.
Acceptable, honestly. And yeah, there's no place for it. And we've been professional throughout the whole entire thing, but I've never been called the things that I've been called on social media, and there's no place for it.
Cue Angel Reese had her own moment in the spotlight, sure, but let's be real, Clark's rise was on another level, and clearly Angel wasn't thrilled about it. While Clark was becoming the face of the league, Reese was on the sidelines watching the spotlight pass her by. It didn't take long for the resentment to start brewing. You see, these players had spent their whole careers grinding, hoping to get the kind of love Caitlin Clark was getting. And here she was, a rookie, snatching it all up like it was nothing. Instead of stepping up their game, they chose to let jealousy do the talking. Suddenly, everything Clark did was under the microscope. Any little reason to drag her down, they grabbed it with both hands.
No, it's going to Caitlin Clark fans are mean. And if Caitlin Clark fans are mean and they're white, where does this head? Oh, you know it goes to racist.
That's why Europe feels like a sweet escape. For Clark, it's not just about playing in a different league with a different vibe, it's about breathing air that isn't laced with all the toxic fumes the WNBA had been spewing her way. The jealousy, the petty accusations, the constant drama, none of it had anything to do with basketball anymore, and Clark knew it. She didn't owe anyone a single second more of her time in that mess.
now they found another victim, the fans of Indiana. Now, I'm going to side a little bit with these idiots.
And while her critics are busy stirring the PO, Clark's already miles ahead doing what she's always done best, letting her game speak louder than all the noise. The fact that she chose Europe over the WNBA offseason. That's her way of saying I don't need to stick around for this nonsense. Because, let's be honest, the atmosphere surrounding her in the WNBA had nothing to do with basketball anymore. It was just a jealousy-fueled feeding frenzy with players and commentators jumping at every chance to tear her down, not because of what she did, but because of how the world was embracing her, and to them, that was the real crime.
Her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark.
She didn't just throw shade, she backed up the dump truck and unloaded it, claiming Clark's decision had nothing to do with escaping the WNBA's dumpster fire atmosphere. No, Breeze wanted everyone to know this was purely about one thing: money. Up to her, Clark was just out here chasing the big bucks. Forget all that talk about toxic teammates or dirty play. Angel's convinced it's all a front. But let's take a step back for a sec. Is this really about money? Or is Reese just trying to distract everyone from the fact that she's in her own mess? Because let's be real, Reese's name is still plastered across headlines thanks to that little steroid scandal she's been tangled up in. Her career is hanging by a thread, and when you're that far down the rabbit hole, it's way easier to point fingers at someone else than deal with your own baggage. So instead of owning up to being busted for performance enhancers, she decided, why not drag Caitlin Clark down with me?
Angel Reese. So she's sort of embraced a Draymond Green role here. But the eyeballs on the WNBA really have to do with Caitlin Clark.
And here's the kicker: Reese didn't stop at Clark. Oh no, she went full throttle, implying that every player in the WNBA is just here for the money, including Clark. The irony, it's so thick you could cut it with a knife. This is coming from the same player whose career imploded because she was caught juicing up to get an edge. It's classic deflection. She's drowning in her own scandal, so she's flinging accusations like confetti to keep the heat off herself.
Do think that some of this drama, and she started some of it, to be fair.
Let's not forget the timeline. Clark's European adventure got announced mid-October 2024, just as the WNBA season was wrapping up. Meanwhile, Reese, she was already busy getting roasted over her steroid suspension, with the headlines dragging her name through the mud for weeks. By the time Clark was prepping for Europe, Reese had already been in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons: steroids, EPO, anabolic drugs, you name it. Her reputation toast.
We've heard all of that. It's real. We want to act like, well, let's not focus on that. Let's just march forward and let's just move forward. Well, guess what? You can't move forward when you're ignoring the path.
Yet here's Angel trying to make Clark look like the greedy one. It's almost funny. Reese facing rumors of a lifetime ban, lawsuits from the Chicago Sky, and a career that's pretty much in the toilet, has the nerve to act like Clark's making shady moves. But luckily, the sports world isn't buying what Reese is selling. Analysts from Stephen A. Smith to Patrick Bet-David have been roasting Reese for her blatant hypocrisy. They're calling her out for trying to distract from her steroid scandal by attacking Clark and the public. Yeah, they're pretty much done with Reese's antics.
Angel Reese is the villain, Caitlin Clark is the hero, and Angel Reese continued to play into it last night by getting ejected, and it's almost like it's all scripted. This is perfect for the WNBA. She's all the talk. She's the one standing up there in front of reporters saying, I need all of you guys to realize there's two of us that changed the game of women's basketball, and it's not just Caitlin Clark. I was a part of that.
When you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, Reese's downfall didn't start with Clark's Euro trip. It kicked off the moment those steroid allegations hit the news back in early September 2024, when it came out that Reese had tested positive for performance enhancers. The WNBA world flipped upside down. She got suspended. Her coach, Teresa Weatherspoon, got the boot for allegedly enabling her, and the Chicago Sky even hit her with a lawsuit. And while all this was going down, Clark was just out there minding her business, racking up wins.